So today I thought I would share with you a few of the cool cloud apps in Alma. There's lots. You can see the entire listing of them in the Dev Network, which I'll show you after. But if you have this cloud app center icon in the upper right, um, then you have both the permissions and cloud apps activated in your environment. If you do not, let me know and I'll do the activation thing so that you can check these out. When you open it up, you'll see your activated apps. I know some of you are already using Spinomatic, which is one of the uh, apps that is available, but there are quite a lot of them. It's a lot easier to view them on the Dev Network than it is here in this list. Um, but I've found a few that are kind of uh, useful and interesting. So I thought I'd just kind of show you how they work. So the first one um, I'm going to show you is the item editor. And so you can actually see when you do an item search and then click on the Cloud App Center, the suggested app for the page comes up with the multiple item editor here. Um, and so I click on it, and what this does is it makes it possible to edit item information in this pop-out window instead of having to click into every single record. So you can actually, so like you're like, okay, I need to, you know, make some, and this like maybe you're like, I don't know if all of these are in the right permanent location or something like that. So what you can do is click edit all, and you can quickly kind of go through, and of course location isn't one on here, darn it. But I was thinking it'd be particularly useful if you have like a set of laptops and the material types are wrong, but you don't like, you're like, you gotta click in and then you gotta go to item information and then you gotta do thing. But this one, if you did a quick search, you could then scroll down and quickly change material type or item policy as needed. You can also add descriptions if needed. Um, just by scrolling and not having to click into every single one of the records. Um, so our calculators happen to be pretty clean, but then, like here's this copy ID that's randomly a 0. So maybe you want to look at that specific barcode and figure out why there's a copy ID in that one and not any other. Um, if you have if you use the enumeration fields, this could be a really great way to kind of see what's going on. See, like we've got random like Texas Instruments uh, in an enumeration field. Um, so, like I thought this was fun. I guess it's fun reviewing item records, but potentially useful. The other thing I like is it actually uh this pop-up, it shows um all 50 of the items on the page. It is responsive to um your search. So if you change your search in here, the pop-up list will also change. So that's kind of cool. Um, so we'll go back. So that was the first one. The e-collection quick update was another cool one. So this was one that, say you are wanting to add a public note to multiple collections at once, And again, clicking into it, clicking out of it, very annoying. So you can actually, so we've got all these Hainan lines, and we can, I'm going to check all, but then I'm going to uncheck the not Hein ones. And then you say update. And now we could add internal descriptions, authentication notes, public notes. So I'm gonna replace this one, and I'm gonna type in trial subscription until June 30th, 2025. Or if you want to make sure that all of your collections are proxied at the collection level so that you can activate them as like records in your Primo, or if you need to update and you want to make sure that the correct default proxies are chosen for all of these. So I can replace, and I can make sure that every single one of them says default. If you need to add licenses in bulk, this is another good one. Um, so, uh, and then you've got the service fields as well. So again, you can add a public note. You can make sure that every single proxy is in the same, or if you're like, well, I gotta deactivate all of these because it's over, activation status not available. Boom, all at once. You're not having to, run crazy jobs or click into 50 different things. So, or if you're having connection issues, you've got your display unavailable message. So again, I thought that this e-collection quick update was a really nice one for our e-resource managers. And then I'm pretty sure these are all set up correctly, but we will add the public note. Um, and it just updates them like woot. Um, Takes a second. It is 36 of them. Okay. And then you can see the report. Um, so now here's the kind of the last one. I took a look at like 15 of these to see what ones were kind of interesting that I could demo quickly. And here's the one that I was like, oh snap. So wish this was available for more uh fields, but this is a way to make sure that the address from field in all of your letters has been updated to correctly bypass all the things. So we have some that say Alma at Ex Libris Group, some that say Discovery at Ex Libris Groups because, those are Primo ones. Then we have some that say Library Mail at Big Bend. But it gives you all of them so you can quickly check for typos. You can quickly check for which ones are enabled. So, like, why do we even need deposit status update letter? Um, it's not going to be used. Automatic loan renewals notice probably needs to be library mail at Big Bend. Um, I don't know that this necessarily gets used, but also can be library mail at Big Bend. We don't use Rapido. We don't have a consortia. I mean, in the Alma sense of the world. Full damaged email letter probably needs to be library mail. Lost email. Don't have Leganto, so those can be disabled. License printout letter, not using that. We're not using one-time token things. On shelf reminder letters probably need to be library mail. Partner invoice level letter. Um, Personal information letter. PO aggregated claim letter. Um, Rapido member letter. Yep, not using that. Reset password letter. Probably needs to be this. SAML certification expiration. Test. Update collection content. I don't know. Yeah. So very quickly, we've disabled ones that were like, yeah, we definitely don't need those. We've updated library mail into ones where it's useful, and boom. So, yeah, so that's fancy. Um, Isaac notes that there's a possibility that uh, email addresses in letters are hard coded, which entirely possible, which is really why I'm like, wow, it would be great if there were versions of this cloud app for other elements of the um of those letters, because being able to check labels like this in multiple things um would be fantastic. But yeah, we have like, well, we don't do delivery registration, deposit activity, download digital titles. No, download, no. Um, Actually, yeah. Okay. And you also have update here. You can sort by address from, so you can see all of them that are empty. Are you gonna work? Yeah, it doesn't want to work, but uh, Uh, so yeah, so like, boom, that was a fun little cleanup job that otherwise, who knows how long it would have taken us. Um, yeah, wish there was a way to download all the XML for all the letters at once. Um, you could, of course, we could create. I've heard that some consortia actually has started a letter um repository basically. Um, and you know, that would be nice, but I haven't been able to find it really. Um, oh, item updater from Excel. So that's another cloud app. Hold on. So if you're looking for some of these other ones, and I'll go up, I know Isaac, you shared some other ones, your cloud apps. So item updater from Excel. Um, Where is it? Where is it? I saw it. There it is. So here's one. And George said that they use this one to move the inventory price to replacement price. That's cool. That's a good project. Um, so yeah. Um, Especially another way you could probably use it is to add replacement type to um various equipment. I might actually, somebody remind me to share this with, you know what, I'm gonna tell myself this. Will Parnell at Peninsula is working on setting up a, oh, what's the word? Devaluation? No. When stuff isn't worth as much anymore. Depreciation. Thank you, Laurie. A depreciation schedule for their laptops. And so we were kind of talking about getting those updated prices into the records. And so I specifically want to share this cloud app of the item updater from Excel with him, because I think that will be super useful for that work. Otherwise, again, having to go into every single record. Um, okay, so in chat, Isaac activated parallelogram. for cataloging in other languages. Is that right? Um, so, oh, relinking multiple items to a new bib. I'll have to check it out. Um, so parallelogram does require a connection to your WorldCat, but it allows you to populate parallel fields. So that's neat. Let me show you Dev Network and we can look at, I was actually looking at one that could potentially solve the Carly doesn't have easy proxy access and it's real hard to test. Um, so the Alma CSV user loader is a good backup to have if you need to, if your SIS load goes down or you need to make bulk updates or corrections to things because your SIS like script breaks. So if you come to Dev Network and click on Cloud Apps, you'll come to the App Center. Um, so you got here's the Spinomatic Cloud app. You can filter here. So you can go Alma and Cloud app. Opening hours doesn't work. I tried that one. Um, Fines fees converter isn't something we'd need because it's for multiple currencies. Creating requests um, by Excel could be interesting if you have a big researcher that you're trying to help out. Um, Deleting old requests, that's another one. Oh, so foreign exchange students that aren't coming in with CTID, that's weird. Um, but yeah, so there's a bunch of these. So Isaac, we're wondering if there's any with item relinking. So let's just do a quick search. I'd search the App Center, but I feel like one of these is highlighting is accurate. Item updater by Excel, quick delete item, PO line item storage, item routing, physical labels, multiple item edit we looked at, receive new serial. This one I would be very curious. This receive new serial items. If folks are using continuous POs, if you want to test that out. I don't see anything relinking multiple items to a new bib. Oh, I did try this Elma roll toggler and it is, I think, no longer necessary. Maybe the functionality of adding and deleting and enabling roles was different previously, but it's nothing you can't do now. Same with delete your old sets. With the new set UI, you can very easily delete multiple sets. It's a little bit hidden, so if you weren't aware, you go over here and you can delete any, okay, select, there we go. Yeah, if you have a ton, I mean, there's only 61 here. The one thing I noticed with the Cloud app for deleting sets was that it kind of got rid of all this extra and gave you just the titles really quick, so it might be easier to view several. Copying roles from a user to another user. Yeah, I considered um, that one as a potentially interesting demo. So if you're, especially if you've got like Circ students who have permissions on personal Alma accounts as opposed to like a Circ student account. Um, you could, quickly copy. One of the things that North Idaho is working on is updating their profiles and roles to match their actual jobs in their library. So, yeah, being able to apply that profile. Now, if you've got a huge library and you don't want to do that kind of front end work, um, I would think the cool app for copying stuff would be neat. Um, so, um, okay, what else? Um, yeah, who all is using Spinomatic currently? I know Grace Harbor, we were using the cloud app, but is Ryan using the desktop one now? Um, the desktop definitely has a lot more customization, but it can be a real pain. And if you can figure out something in the like in the cloud app that works for you, that looks right, it is so easy and nice. Um, I can take a look at what here. Let me log out of Big Bend and I can show you the cloud app that I set up for Grays Harbor just so you can kind of see what we did with that Spinomatic. If anyone's interested in giving it a try, it did take some back and forth with um, the printer, the label printer, to get it kind of doing what we wanted. Um, So here we look at Grace Harbor. We've got our Spinomatic. This is definitely one you want to do wide. So you click on configuration and you can see we have um, our different templates. And so I was able to choose fields to add. The only problem is that um, the fields are limited to what is already added here. However, the ability to create these tables to space things, and then I also used HTML to adjust padding and line height, um, and set the font sizes more specifically. Um, so we kind of played around with this and so like let's say, and so then this is our margin, and we have the big one and then the vertical spine label. And so we have how it's set up. Again, it took a little bit of, you know, messing about with it to figure out how many labels per page, how many, how wide they were, how it was going to print. Um, this is their full barcode sticker. So this is like a 3x1. And then here's the spine sticker. So I ended up parsing out the different call number parts um, line by line. You can actually add all of them at the same time. We were trying to get this date of publication, and I was trying to figure out which part of the call number is date of publication. So I put um, them all separately. Yes. So what's great is you can upload. Okay, so I'm gonna go back. And we can either scan in items, you can add a set, or you can in the scan in, you can actually just paste a set of barcodes. You can also um go this and so like select items. So if we did an item search here and say we wanted to do new spine labels for I don't know. What's something that we could everything in a particular location. Let's find a location and I'll show you how cool it is. So say we wanted, because we've got display. See if anything's in display right now. Okay, cool. So now we can go up here to Cloud Apps. We do Spinomatic. Boom. Here are all of those barcodes on this page. So it is limited to 20 if you do it through a search. But okay, so now we've got some test barcodes. Doing it from a set is really kind of boss. And then you say next, and we're like, okay, we don't actually want barcode. We want the spine sticker, and that is not the 3x1. That's the vertical spine. We don't want grid lines. We do want to enable the marginless templates. And now we do preview, and we can see all of those spine labels and how obviously this looks weird, but that's because they have a little zebra printer and it's going to print the 1.5 or 1.25 by 1 and it goes boop 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 and we've got um all of them and that's everything that's on display currently and it just reprints and yeah. So and then you just click print. And if you're like, oh, you know what? These are not formatting right. Um, you can say back. You're like, just kidding. I didn't mean to do it that way. I want to do the barcode stickers. You can keep the same set and not have to reload them. I could have done preview edit. Ah, crikey. My printer's being awesome. Um, yeah, so this is my printer being weird, but you can see, hold on. Nope, do not. So here we go. Here is that. So we've got the information, the barcode, and the author and then the title here. Looks like some of our spacing is weird. But yeah, so you don't have to clear totally out. You can change configuration and it remembers all those barcodes for next time. So if you're testing, a couple three, that's what we did when we were setting it up. We basically like chose ones that were like, these have long titles or these have weird publication dates or whatever. And like, this is how they're supposed to look. And we had those 4 barcodes to test. Spinomatic works with the main printers. Can't remember how it's spelled. There it is. The information for all of that is here in the online help. Not that one. It's in this one. In the GitHub. And so it does talk about configuring and connecting to your printers. I believe pretty much, I mean, like Zebra and Dynamo. I mean, like it's all the major ones. Um, I haven't we haven't had to set it up with a not major one, so I don't know. But like this is really helpful. It tells you, like which properties go with what, um, whether you want to like add an image. So if you have stickers that you want to print for, cereals or something, the only problem with some of these that are going to need to incorporate with like a printer on your network is that your IT has has to approve it. Um, Cloud App Access is available for everybody. You just have to give users those permissions. Um, so if you go into user management, let's see. Um, it is Cloud App, Cloud App, Cloud App. Where is it? Well, you have to turn it on too, which is a thing in Dev Network, which I can do because it's a little stupidly tricky. Okay, clearly I have the permission. So what is it called? It's got to be in miscellaneous, right? Um, Here it is, Cloud App Operator. Um, I mean I have it already, but and so once you have Cloud Apps activated, you have to give someone this permission so that they can access the Cloud Apps. What other chat have I missed? Uh, mm, uh, um, yes, a good note in chat. A few of the apps do require that you enter your API keys, and very few libraries have local dev network accounts. That was something that Wade had for everybody. And honestly, I mean, you don't really need it. So I do have all of those. And if you need an API key, um, I'm happy to set up that and get you the key. You would have to go to your API console and then um, these are generic ones. They kind of just tell you the test stuff. But you can see that there are lots and lots. One of the things, just total aside, but if anyone's real interested, and wants to help me with this little pet project, there are analytics APIs and a just yeah, come on, go. And a librarian at the SUNY Dental School Library set up a Google Sheet that links to the Alma Analytics API, and um, it uh, like basically consolidates all of their usage in one place in an embeddable thing. Well, I talked to her and was like, hey, do you think it would work to basically set it up for multiple institutions and then like collate all of them into like a single thing? And so my like small little goal is to not have to pay for the Celis consortial analytics not well sushi harvesting tool and just do it myself using the APIs and a little bit of code in Google Sheets. But if someone else thinks that would be cool and wants to work on it with me, let me know. um yeah, so this is just, it tells you where the sandbox is and what the server is. If you log in, that's where you can actually find your own information. And again, very few of you actually have that access. I have it for you, so happy to access that. Okay, it's 10:40. Cloud apps are cool. Totally would love to kind of find out who's using what, if you want to kind of like throw it in the chat. like jump into your Alma and be like, oh, it looks like we've got this and this. I don't think there's a lot, so we'll see. But before we wrap up today, I did want to show you um, Big Bend, thanks Tim and Amanda, agreed to be a Nomad Plus Plus trial person. Yes, the Super Shelf Inventory Cloud app disappeared because it's in super beta, and the University of Maryland guy um, is only releasing it to institutions in his uh, consortial, like in his network zone. So I thought I'd reach out to him directly just to see if he wanted some testers outside. Um, but um, Anyway, so Big Ben decided to be a Nomad Plus Plus trial person, and we can have additional trial folks if you want to also check it out. So I thought I'd show you how it's different, and what the additional functionality is from normal, quote, normal Nomad. So here we are in Wikipedia, and when I do a search for a thing, we get the little pop-up here that says provided by Big Bend College. For a not Nomad Plus Plus user, you wouldn't have this chat button and you wouldn't have the option to do the branding and the color choices. Now, the color choices look like regular Nomad colors, but they are in fact Big Bend's colors because I customized them. I have AskWA access, so I was able to configure this extra specific widget because it has to be a in library in chat window or something like that. But anyway, I set it up to look like their regular chat on other pages. And you can see that now a user with Nomad, and Nomad Plus Plus just like automatically goes with Nomad. So if you're a trial person, you don't have to install anything else. Now their users can access library chat in Wikipedia or anywhere else that there is the default Nomad message, and it will be branded. Also, the default article buttons now have citation tool right here, and you can choose different citation formats. You could also add information in here. So I think we're going to actually change this wording to say select article links provided by Big Bend College, and then like a little like more info button that explains the difference between article link, download PDF, and access options, so that students, users understand that difference. So this is one that we haven't actually specifically customized, but it is possible, based on base URL, to specifically customize for a website. So here you see we have our browsing view complete issue, our download PDF, our export citation, but we have customized this banner to say need research help, connect with library resource, it will Big Bend resources and librarian chat. So we customize this uh, button to go to their tutorials and how-to videos, and the chat is still right here. And they can dismiss this for a day or for 30 days. So if a student's like, no, I don't need that. The other one that we've done so far is Google Scholar. And this one is a little bit different. You can see it automatically changed. It just says get research help from Big Bend librarians and then research help at the library. And it goes to here, same one. So we're kind of like tweaking our messaging a bit. What I really love about it is I actually think this is less annoying than the slide out, um, and easier to customize. So one of the things that we're thinking about adding, and I'm going to show you how easy it is on Canvas. woot, where we want to add a pop out that's going to come out like at the end of the quarter, so like this week, that says have a library laptop, or like a college laptop. They're due at the end of the quarter. Um, we know that Amanda has added Nomad to all of the library laptops. So this is a great way to kind of like bypass the emails that they ignore, bypass Canvas administration, like trying to embed links or hiding it in the help thing, and just have a pop-up. So here is the admin, and they are working on making this admin available for all of Nomad, but right now it's only available with Nomad Plus Plus. So here you see Design Studio. So we have um, vertical alignment. We can center the logo, which you can see in the preview, changes it, sets it down. I really liked the kind of like floating dynamic, like break the edge. I custom chose the navy color. You can use a lighter color and use black text, and I custom chose the link color based on their branding. So it just looks, really slick. Here's the citation services. We chose the ones that they have RefWorks and Zotero in their Primo. And so then I just added the universal RIS. But if you are an EndNote campus, or have, a bunch of people who love Mendeley, whatever, you can choose whichever ones. Um, the chat, this is where you add your libchat script, and they have really great documentation for how to set up that widget. But again, it was very easy with my AskWA permission to just do it for Big Bend. And then here is the domain messaging. So this is where we can set up a new rule. So I'm going to actually set up a new rule right now just to show you how easy it is. So we're going to call this um, Canvas, and then like end of term laptop reminder. So we know exactly what it is. The URL that we want it to go on is going to be the Canvas URL for Big Bend. So let me just grab that and remember my password. And do the security probably. Oh, no, good. Okay. Been logged in. Okay. So here we are going into Canvas, and I am just going to grab. So we already have this, and Big Bend is lucky because Tim is in charge of e-learning, so he has no problem getting these kind of announcements at the very top of Canvas. But if you are not so lucky, we can take this Big Bend in structure, and we're going to put this here. Oop. And we don't want it to be an exact match because we want it to come up on all of whatever shows up afterwards. And we want this to display in addition to any content link. So if a faculty member has an article in a Canvas course that has a DOI and Nomad pings it, we want the, like the link of provided by to show up, but we also want it to show up with just all the time. So we're actually going to do display in addition to and regardless of. So basically all the time and double up. It doesn't matter whether they're authenticated or not. We're not going to worry about IP. Our message is going to be have a library laptop. Be sure to return by, I'm going to go back here and check that date. Um, it's the end of that. It's the 21st. It's Friday. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. Uh, by Friday. And I'm gonna add the date, although I'm gonna go in and take this off on Friday anyway. Um, we're not going to put any link button in here because we don't need one. We just need to have this reminder. And now we hit save. So here it is. And we're going to go back here to dashboard, and users will not have to do this next step. It will automatically update in the next hour or so, but I want to show you how it works. So I just hit update right there, and come on. Dun-dun-dun. Have a library laptop? Be sure to return. And then if there's questions, that chat uh is always there. So really fantastic way to meet users where they are. You can add this to ProQuest platform, EBSCO platform. So there are colleges that just do like chat. Let me actually pull up, uh, my examples. There aren't a lot of community colleges using it so far. Um, so they're really excited that, of course, our consortium is willing to have some trials, but we put together a little spreadsheet of the places where we want to put it. So um, I did an analytics of like top titles and platforms that are used. So we're going to go ahead and put things in Sage, in Wiley, um, Taylor and Francis, Science Direct, which actually has um, their Science Direct and their Springer and Nature and Springer and Science. Yeah, anyway, so we're going to do that. But here's some examples from other community colleges. So on a publisher site, they've got like hitting a paywall. Actually, these were newspaper sites, but publisher newspaper. Your library's ProQuest subscription includes. And so then they have a link here that takes students to basically that proxy link to ProQuest and has them sign in and then go to ProQuest. So they would leave the open web publisher site to go through ProQuest. These examples here, Connect to Your Library's Chronicle subscription and JSTOR subscription, are an authorization loop where the Nomad++ relies on your open URL and easy proxy that's embedded in your account and allows people to just sign in and come right back to the page that they're on. So super cool. This is how this college has done PubMed. So they just say, links to some articles provided by your library, so that it kind of like explains this download PDF thing. And then here's one that this other community college did. They kept it very, very simple, and it's just like chat. I think I'd go with a little more information than that. But we are making a list, and then when I get one that's set up and we like it, I just snip it, so that we have a record of what it looks like. And I'm just kind of adding this stuff. So, yeah, I just think it's such a neat tool because here's the other thing. I don't actually have access to courses in Big Bend. I only have the CTC Link one, but uh, as you know, each course has its own course number. So if you wanted, I mean, I could do it on this one, but we won't mess with SBCTC. So say you've got a librarian who's working with a couple of courses. All you need to do is like take this course URL, and you could add a rule to have the message pop up to send user or like show users like, hey, here's the library research guide for your course. Um, you can also use it to lead users to short surveys. So if you have trial databases or a new page on your LibGuides and you want to collect some feedback on it, you can use it that way. I kind of actually, like I said, I like it better than some of the slide out because I think it's more noticeable and like more clearly branded. So you can add it to your Primo if you wanted. And then you're not having to worry about the slide out blocking uh, item records. It just is down here at the bottom. So um, anyway, it is, uh, yeah, totally in trial version right now. I think they'll kind of let us have it as long as I say, yeah, I'm still trying to convince people that it's cool. So if you want to try it out a little bit, we do not know yet what we're going to be doing with the Third Iron subscription after, Ju- uh, well, for July of 2026. We have one more year of it being fully covered by Whack to Click for at any community college in our membership. And we will probably be doing quite a few surveys as to like who would continue to subscribe. Um, After that, like what kind of price point y'all would be comfortable with. Uh, I strongly believe with the addition of Nomad Plus Plus, which of course they're giving us a killer deal on, but nothing's free. Um, it is such a phenomenal tool for library visibility and meeting users where they are and not relying on them coming to us in the digital space. So and it just enhances everything. Like and especially if Big Bend if they had their own library logo, we would have put that there even, like make the library visible. Um, every single student services office has their own Instagram and they hire a student to put that content out constantly. So this is kind of the least that we can do. Um, so if you're interested in trying it out, please let me know. Like I said, we can they'll turn it on for us. It doesn't even take a day, and then you can start building those links and uploading your customization stuff. Bare minimum, it adds logo and you can change the color. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, 10:58. Um, and I think we've seen some cool stuff, shared some good info. And this was recorded, so I'll be getting all the winter calls posted to YouTube here shortly. And then next week I'm taking vacation, so I will not be around. I'll always monitor for emergency support calls, but um, yeah. Um, all right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, your week, and if you have ideas for spring calls, please share.